Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via YouTube streaming, Facebook streaming, and also via Skype online. Each one of you is welcome to this 26th of August Sunday morning live streaming. Bliss is light and blissfulness virtue. Bliss is light. Yes, indeed. Bliss is light and blissfulness is virtue. And one who is blissful, he is virtuous. A blissful person is inevitably good, inevitably virtuous, and a miserable person is bound to be miserable and evil. A miserable person may try to do something good, but he cannot. I take a particular sutra from Bhagavad Gita. It is the first sutra of chapter 4. Imam vivashyate yogam proktanan avyayam. Arjun inquires from Krishna, this yoga that you are talking about, did you teach anyone else? Who learned this first? Yoga is the process, the bridge to connect to light, to consciousness. You are a bridge between your memory and your life. Your life is governed by the memory, not by light. Krishna says, Krishna is the instrument, and through him the absolute consciousness that he has reached to that state speaks. It pronounces, I taught, it would be better to say that consciousness speaks through the instrument of Arjuna. I taught this imperishable yoga to Vivashwan, the sun god, first. He taught it to Manu, and Manu taught it to, imparted it to Ikshvaku. And this is how it descended. What are these three words? Vivashwan, sun god, Manu, and Ikshvaku. Arjun gets bewildered. He sees only the physical form of that consciousness as Krishna. He says, you are now, and you say that this yoga is imperishable. You taught it to sun god. You are now, how did you teach it to sun god? A master is a bridge between form and formless. In form he is body, mind and intellect. And in formless he is light, he is awareness, he is light, he is consciousness. He bridges his being, bridges the consciousness, and this needs to be understood carefully. For instance, when we look at the disease, the modern allopathic medicine system treats the medicine from the symptoms. Symptoms do not appear first. First there is a cause. When cause is not rectified, something happens and symptoms appear. If you are looking at something from this systematic system point of view, when it appears at a plane that is visible to you, you cannot find, you can suppress it, but you cannot find a solution to it. In order to cure a particular disease, you have to go to the cause. In order to rectify something, you have to go to the cause. An architect is there. First of all, the idea of a building appears in the mind of the financier. He visualizes it, nobody else knows it. He translates that idea to the architect. He makes a sketch of it. The second process, the idea which was invisible in the beginning is the cause. It is translated into a sketch. And slowly the sketch becomes a model, the model becomes the building, and so on and so forth. At the level of the light, it is at the level of consciousness, it is only an idea. A vision, idea means a vision. Vision comes to someone. In that case, we can say that the financier is the one to whom the idea has come. He is in conversation with light when it appears at his horizon. He sees something. He envisions that building is there and how he perceives everything. This is how the vision comes in. We call it a vision. The vision is translated into a sketch, and a sketch is translated into model. So first comes the light or awareness or consciousness. Mirza Ghalib in one of the compositions says that आते हैं ये मज़ामीर ख्याल में गैब से. Ghaib means that realm, the realm of light, which is invisible to the human mind, but it exists. And it is said, according to the Sufi's path, that when a master leaves the physical body, he dwells in Alam-e-Ghaib. Alam means realm, realm beyond the mind, realm beyond the form, the formless. Nanak says, Sachkhand base nirankar. In the realm of truth dwells the formless. Light is formless. And it is said in the beginning, there was nothing. God and the light was there. Whether it is light or sound, they are two faces of the same reality. Whether you say it, you envision it, you perceive it as light or as sound, it matters not. That's where when we go into sound and light show, through the medium of sound and light, we show the entire history. When you go to some of the palaces in Rajasthan, sound and light system, through which everything is shown. So sun, the light comes first. So what Mirza Ghalib says, आते हैं मज़ामीन ख्याल में गैब से आते हैं ये मज़ामी ख्याल में गैब से, and that you are seeing something, you are hearing something, that is when the pen is put on the paper, the moving finger writes. That is the sound of that Nabai Sharosh Sharire Khama, is that angel who is speaking through me. All those who have been visionary, their experience is that they have heard a voice within. Holy Prophet pronounces it that he heard a voice. Whether it was to manifest through him in that way, that a voice has assumed a human form and it spoke to him. In case of Vedavyas, it was a silent communion. It depends upon what device you are and through which the light has to manifest. The device that Holy Prophet is, it manifested in this way as sound. He heard a voice and he deciphered this. In Islam, this voice is deciphered as the voice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Read. Vedavyas saw this vision in a silent communion and he saw everything written. This is what is called he reached to that state when he can see the unseen, read the unwritten. आते हैं मज़ामी ख्याल में गैब से, गालिब नबाए शरोश शरीर खामा है. I am simply Sharira Khama. That sound that happens when the pen writes on the piece of paper. So first I taught it to Sun God. So first of all, the vision comes in a form that is not known to anyone. He calls his architect and translates it that I am. He narrates that vision to his script writer. Architect is the script writer who is able to write his vision. Now he is going into that. Visionary goes into the vision and sees that this is how the rooms will be, this is how the building's elevation will be, these will be the number of floors. So when Vedavyas saw this vision, he was bemused by this. He wanted to know what is this. So first the vision came, and after that he came out of the state of meditation, he forgot all about it. Then second day again it happened and he prayed. If this vision is so important that it is coming to me, if a vision is coming to a visionary who is a financer, who has the capability to do something, everyone has capability to do something or the other. You may have the capability to pen it down, so sometimes or the other someone will take that initiative to give it a form. So the financer has the vision and he has the financial support to bring that vision into the reality. Vedavyas had that vision and he has the capacity to translate it into the form that it can be beneficial to the humanity in the form of Bhagavad Gita. Holy Prophet saw that vision. He has a wonderful memory. When he returned from the meditation every day, he narrated to his sahibis, to his associates, who wrote it down, and the collection of 23 years of this kind of communion came to be known as the Quran-e-Pak, Quran-e-Majid. Majid, magnificent. So now this first division, that is the light. The light begins to act through your instrument of body, through the instrument of intellect, through the instrument of the mind. Then it comes down to the level of the mind. This is represented by Manu. Manu means the lawgiver. The architect is using his law. How a three-dimensional, this vision is multidimensional. He has to translate this multidimensional vision into a form using his mental capabilities in the form of his intellect. So this is the level of the mind. Mind, Manu means mind, the lawgiver. And then when the model is ready, the financer sees, the architect sees, the builder sees it. They are bemused now. It is now comes to the field of action. Field of action, finances, the financial manager begins to work, the architectural, the designer, all those stakeholders come into effect. This is represented by the word Ikshvaku. Iksha means desire. Walk, if I translate it, means movement. Your desire is getting into the movement, Ikshvaku. And according to the Hindu way, Ram belonged to the Ikshvaku clan. These are the three stages, and these are known as consciousness, intelligence, and dexterous action. Light, the sun god, is bliss or consciousness or awakening. Intelligence is the second layer, second stage. Through the intelligence, the architect translates that vision, the formless vision, into a form that now the other financiers, if we have to invite the banks and all those, they come and see, they see the vision, they see the whole, and they see the locality, the area where this has to be built, and the prospects and the financial gains and all those criteria that the financiers need to use. Then comes the builders, the dexterous action. So Krishna uses the word avyayam, means the imperishable yoga. I first imparted this to consciousness. Why does Krishna calls this yoga as imperishable? Because it cannot be destroyed. What is yoga? Is not doing the exercises, is not doing the breathing, is not. These are the techniques through which you are connected to the formless in you. You know your form, but you do not know your formlessness. It cannot be destroyed. It may fade from memory and practice, but it is ever present, just waiting to be recovered by a suitable seeker. Yoga is the technique to connect to the consciousness. Consciousness is light, consciousness is bliss. How to connect to your bliss, how to connect to the light that you are, how to connect to the formless that you are. You have not known the formless in you. Arjuna had not known the formless in him. That's why he questions Krishna, how can you say that you taught it to sun god, Sun is an ancient, and you are now. Sun is past. How did you teach that? That's where he says yoga is imperishable. Through my form, in my formless form, I know all those you know not. You are not connected, you have not yet been able to bridge. For instance, you have a safe in your house which has many precious jewels, money and all those things. But you do not have an access to it. It may be there. You know that there is something in it, or you may not be aware. You are aware simply of the presence of a safe in your house, but you do not know what is there inside, and you do not have an access to it. So it is like that. The formless is that safe which contains many jewels, many precious things, but you do not have an access to it. Krishna says that I know all those, but you know not. I have the master key to go into that safe, which I can go into, which is the formless. That formlessness is that safe which contains many jewels and gems, but you do not have. And through my yoga, through my Yogmaya, I can access to that. And yoga is then that process which connects you to that light, to that formless, to that invisible in you. And the moment it happens there, everything begins to be clear that I am the Atman, imperishable. Nanam chindanti shastrani nanam dahati pavaka. Nothing can destroy it. But before that, you have not reached to that level. Therefore, Sun God is the first and the foremost to receive this awareness as knowledge. Atma is the first that sees the light. The formless first sees the vision. The formless in Veda Vyas saw that vision that became to be known as Bhagavad Gita. It is the formless in Holy Prophet saw that vision, saw that formless, the words, that vision which he used his intelligence, he used his mind level to give it a form, a word, that is encompassed as Holy Quran. Therefore, Sun God is the first and the foremost to receive the knowledge. Atma is the one who can see the light. The invisible in you sees the light. The light then activates the intelligence at the mental level. The mind activities begin to work. That's why the architect's mind and his intelligence, which he has acquired, begins to work. He uses his measures, uses his technique to give it a form that comes to be known as model. But that model is yet to be given a dexterous action to become a reality. Then the fruition of the light of knowledge. How does this fruition of the light takes place? It takes place through the dexterous action. Bhagavad Gita then enunciates yoga, yog karmasu kaushalam. How kaushalam means the quality, that is your kushalta, how versatile you are in that. The right execution of the action will bring about self-realization. It is an interconnecting flow chart or flow cycle, and the beginning at any level will move and revolve to the self-knowledge, Atma Bodh. Krishna has reached to that level. His consciousness has reached to that level that can see beyond time and space. That is why he is called omnipresent, omniscient. The words has the capacity to include the multi-dimensional meaning. One who has reached to the level, who has realized the light, the formless in him, one who is connected to the formless, his words become multi-dimensional. The master speaks, his words work at different levels of consciousness. He is speaking to a congregation of a communion of people. Different people are there, they are at different levels of the mental grasp, understanding. So when somebody understands this at the level of the mind, someone understands it at the level of the physical mind, so someone sees Buddha drinking tea in this particular way, so he starts imitating. Because that is the plane that person is, and then if it does not remain stuck at that level, he will move to the other plane where these physical imitation will be irrelevant to that person. But in the beginning, this is how it happens. You can see only the form and you are connected to the master, to the awakened one through his form. So you start imitating. But then you go deeper into, you start analyzing the words. The words become alive for you. And that's where the words that had been formless for you becomes alive. And when words become alive, then you enter into another dimension. So his message works at all various dimensions, and through these, the mystery is revealed, and finally it resolves into silence and enlightenment. There is no other way. Just take one word from your inner feeling and slowly pull the thread, go deeper into it. This is diving. You are diving into the river, into the ocean from one point. You are not on the surface. So far you had been on the surface swimming. It was relaxing and you were enjoying it. But it has not enjoying it. It is relaxing you, but it is not transforming. Transformation takes place when you take a single spot, maybe a single word from your the ocean of the emotions, and start going deep into it, or you start diving. This is what the divers are. They dive from one point in the river or the ocean and go deeper and deeper, move from A to A1, A1 to A2, A3, and so on and so forth until they reach the deepest core of their being. Not on the surface where they move A to B, B to C, C to D. That is, you are remaining on the surface. Just take one word out of your inner feeling and slowly pull the thread. It will lead you to silence and enlightenment. What is silence and enlightenment? This is the gem from the deepest core of your being. Just as when a diver dives and he reaches to the core, to the depth, innermost depth of the ocean, there he finds the jewels. So when you enter into the ocean of your being, silence, the tranquility, the blissfulness, virtue, these are the precious gems, enlightenment. But follow this word. It connects you to the other words, and soon a web is created. Krishna weaves a web of words to trap Arjuna's mind. He creates a web so that he can start walking inside silently. He then captures his mind like a spider's prey, and when your heart, that is the hard shell of ego, is shattered from deep within, the light is released. The self-illuminous Atma awakens. The light begins to manifest. And when it falls on the instruments of the mind, it activates that. Then the process of dexterous action begins, and the whole process is continued. This is the whole process which Krishna explains to Arjuna through this particular sutra. Imam te, I taught this imperishable yoga first to sun god, from sun it came to Manu, the mind. That's where, when the light comes in, light is bliss, light and bliss is virtue, and blissfulness is the way. You cannot give people or someone what you do not have within you. You can give only that which you have within you. If you have bliss, you can share that. If you have, your words will become dynamite. So the miserable person many times thinks to be good to the people. He intends to be good, but the outcome is always the otherwise. Because he will act out of his confusion, darkness and misery. A man of light is awake. Man of awakening is acting out of his light and clarity and blissfulness. His all actions will be luminous, whereas that of the miserable, emanating out of his misery, his confusion, his darkness, his lack of bliss, his intentions may be different, but every time when he speaks, he does, no good comes out of him. Notwithstanding his intentions, he will create more and more misery in the world. In the past, in almost all societies, man has been told by all the priests that if you want to be blissful, be good. That is a patented nonsense. By doing good, one can happen. If you want to be good, be blissful first. If you are blissful, you are virtuous. If you are blissful, it is impossible to harm anyone. A blissful person cannot harm anyone. Your very bliss will prevent you from harming anyone. You will feel sympathy, you will feel empathy, you will feel compassion, and you will feel lovingness. You would like everyone to be blissful because you are blissful, and you will know clearly that if everyone else is blissful, your bliss will be multiplied exponentially in your presence, and you create an aura of blissfulness. It is as if you are clear, but everybody else is dirty. You are clean and everybody else is dirty. How long can you remain clean? How are you healthy but everyone else is ill? There is virus. How long can you remain healthy? You have made beautiful house, a garden, a swimming pool, a fountain, but the whole neighborhood is dirty. How long can your garden be in existence in that state? It cannot survive. We live in the world together with others. So remember, the blissful person becomes aware that it is good to help the people to be blissful, to bring about transformation in them. It is not only altruistic, it is selfish too, because he knows If more people around me in my neighborhood are aware of this cleanliness, which is the inner cleanliness as blissfulness, then my bliss will be multiplied exponentially. The beauty of my garden will be enhanced. The beauty, the surroundings will make it even more prominent. Both bliss and misery have their own mathematics. When you put two miserable people together, the miseries are not doubled, instead they are multiplied exponentially. Hence, every Buddha had tried to create a sangha, a communion, a congregation where thousands of blissful persons can be together. Then everyone's bliss will be exponential, and then it will become almost immeasurable. Almost immeasurable. That is the purpose of the message of Holy Prophet. That is the message of Bhagavad Gita, message of Krishna, which was explained, which was given a shape by Veda Vyas. So blissfulness is, bliss is light, bliss is awareness, bliss is consciousness, and blissfulness virtue. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant day.